Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about how to read a chart. Quickly, assess things, get to the point. This is so important, and so many people have not a clue on what to do. Usually they take a class and then they pick up a chart and they go, where do I begin? I don't know where to start. There's so many things. There's the yogas, there's the aspects, there's this, there's that. Let me show you a real simple way just to pick up a chart, and you'll be amazed, because you gotta kind of have a systematic way of doing things. And when you do, then you don't blank out. So before we start, I want to remind everyone to go to my website, sign up for my free newsletter, galacticcenter.org, and while you're there, check out my beautiful spiritual jewelry of malas and earrings. And also, want you to check out my university website. If you're interested in learning Vedic astrology, this is the answer. Go to my university website, which is universityofvedicastrology.com. Now, let's get going. How do I pick up a chart and start reading it point blank? I don't study charts before I do a reading because, let me put it this way, I always tell people I wouldn't be a good astrologer if I had to study a chart for hours before I read it. But since I know how to read a chart, I know what's important, I zero in. So what's the very first thing I do? Look at the ascendant. Look at the ascendant. What is the ascendant? The ascendant sets up the whole chart. It is the most important variable. So the first thing I do is I zero in on what is the ascendant, and if there's planets in the first house. Those planets are going to be indicative of how that person looks, how they react, who they are. The first house is you. So when a planet's there, it tells so much about that person. But also, the most important thing that I zero in on, aside from any planet in the ascendant, is the ascendant ruler. So if you're looking at a chart and Aries is the ascendant, Mars rules Aries, so that becomes the ascendant ruler. I call that the ruler of the chart. So important. Whatever house that ruler of the chart goes to is going to be of interest to that individual throughout their life, on and off throughout their life. So if somebody has an Aries rising, Mars rules Aries, it becomes a chart ruler. Whatever house it goes to will be their interest. Let's say Mars goes to the 10th house. Their career is going to be their focus. Let's say they have a Taurus rising. Venus rules Taurus. And let's say Venus goes to the 5th house. Then throughout their life, they're going to be interested in creative projects and children. Let's say the ruler of the chart is Mercury. And let's say it's either a Gemini or Virgo ascendant. Mercury rules Gemini or Virgo. Wherever Mercury goes, let's say it goes to the 7th house. Their focus is always going to be around relationships, marriage, making things work, making their partner feel comfortable. So wherever that ruler goes, what house it's in, tells such a big story about that individual's life. That's number one. Number two, where is the moon? What sign is the moon in? What does the house the moon in tell you? So the moon is how you feel. And actually, you should be able to look at the chart as using the moon as the ascendant, making that house number one too. That gives a whole nother dimension of this person. But for right now, we're not going to get into that. Just look where the moon is, what house it's in. That will be of enormous importance throughout their life. And the moon also represents the mother. So wherever it goes will tell a story about the mother, which can give a sense of how that person was raised, because they're raised by their mother. So if the moon goes to the 8th house, then that means the mother struggled in life. Absolutely. There is no two ways about this, okay? And if the sun is in the 8th house, the sun is the father. There's going to be struggles with and for the father. Definitely. The 8th house is the house that can deal with difficulties. So it deals with sometimes disgrace, humiliation, but it also has some very redeeming qualities such as psychic ability, intuition, research. But for the most part, put the sun or the moon in the 8th house, the mother, the father struggled in life. That's just as easy as you can be. You can spot that. So the next thing I look for is where Rahu and Ketu are. Remember, they are your destiny, and they are going to depict the biggest changes throughout life. So wherever they are is destiny points, and it's also what you came here to work on, to heal in your lifetime. So important to know this. So if Rahu and Ketu are in the 1st and the 7th, and vice versa. It doesn't matter if you have Rahu in the 7th or Ketu, and Ketu in the 1st or Ketu in the 7th. It's always going to be about relationship issues that this person's left undone in a past life and come here to heal. If you have Rahu and Ketu in the 2nd or the 8th, it's going to have everything to do with money and how you handle money and your feelings about wealth, money, because that really does depict how you feel about yourself. Your sense of self-worth and confidence give you the ability to be prosperous in life. And it also deals with early childhood experiences. So if you have Rahu and Ketu in your 2nd and 8th house, you're working on finding yourself and your aspects of making money, being prosperous. That's what you left undone. If you have Rahu or Ketu in your 3rd and 9th, then this left issues off about education, learning, siblings. You're here to heal those issues of higher learning, getting an education. This is important. You left that undone in a past life. And also issues around the father and your siblings. It's the 9th and the 3rd. If you have Rahu and Ketu in the 10th and the 4th, there are definite issues you came here to work out through your mother and through your work, your career, and your home and family. If your Rahu and Ketu go to the 5th or the 11th, it's all about your creativity, children, and also working with your children in terms of their families eventually, with their spouses. And also something to do with friends, groups, organizing these groups. This is very important, and this is what you've come here to do. And to work out issues around children. So, let's go to the 6th and the 12th. If you have Rahu and Ketu in either the 6th or the 12th, that polarity, it's going to be about service to others, helping others. It's going to be about health and healing. You came here to work on that. And most of all, letting go of the past things that have hurt you, and especially around the area of your health and healing. Because if you hang on to things from the past, you have resentments and anger and fear, you're going to get sick. So those are the things that you've come here to release yourself of, to learn how to heal thyself. So look at the ascendant ruler. What house is it in? Look at the moon. What house is it in? Tells you volumes around a person. And the other thing is if Rahu or Ketu are conjunct a planet. Now I went over that and I go over that in another video, which talk about if you don't know astrology, but actually it's very, very important. I'll recap really quick. If you have any planet conjunct Rahu, then that planet will be exaggerated and be to a point of excess. It's going to be It's going to be a lot of energy there. So Rahu with the sun, excess around the dad. Rahu with the moon, excess and extremes around emotion in the mother. Mercury is the mind. Venus is love and beauty. Mars is energy, drive, but it can also be brothers and sisters. And Jupiter will be the spirituality. And Saturn will be this power to be in control. So you see, Rahu with one of these planets will exaggerate it. But Ketu is the opposite, such as Ketu with the moon. You never feel like you get enough from the mother. Ketu with the sun, you feel like there's a loss or something around father. Ketu with Venus, there's loss around love, never being fulfilled. Ketu with Mercury, the mind goes deep within and it's very intuitive. Ketu with Mars, there's a loss around siblings and there's a loss around drive and ambition. Ketu with Saturn, there's a loss or sense of being in control. Ketu being with Jupiter, this search and need for truth and spirituality. And I think I covered them all, yes. So look at these things. These are the driving forces. And if I could take it to the next level, I would go to each planet in the chart. Look at what house it's in and look at what house it rules. That's the next level. Because a planet takes with it the energy of the houses it rules and brings it to the house it's in. Such as, let's say Jupiter rules the 9th house. Let's say the 9th house is Sagittarius. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, but the ruler of the 9th goes to the 12th. The 12th house is losses. The 9th house is the father. So that would be a feeling of the father never being around. So that is another tool and another way of study to go through each and every planet, what house it rules, what house it sits in. But that will be taken up in another video. So this is the one that I want you to know. What do you do when you first glance at a chart? Let me recap. Where is the ascendant ruler? That will be a focus throughout life. Where is the sun? Where is the moon? Most importantly, where's the moon? That's what the feeling and emotion goes. So that will be a focus. Look at where Rahu and Ketu are. That's the karmic destiny. And look at any planet that's conjunct either Rahu or Ketu. And you have volumes of information for this individual. So check out your own chart. See if this doesn't all ring so very true. I know it will. It's going to make sense. And you know what else? It's going to give you a sense of knowing yourself so that you can work on and heal yourself. Most importantly, that's what astrology's for. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me, go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org, and sign up for my university, which is University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.